you asked me who came on first. My professionals who were suited.
Yeah.
They came to the table first. Everybody that would traditionally be dressed in suits came to the table first
Yeah.
because they were like, suiting feels so wrong right now. And we have a million of them. Like, and we have perfect suiting. We know exactly how to style ourselves with the suiting because you've laid it all out for us. I have a repertoire. I know exactly what to do. But now when you take that layering piece away, when you take that blazer away, when you take that suiting away, there are important elements that you need to keep, but you need to get on everyone else's level, which is the fact that we're all working from home in some capacity. Or I do have clients that are going into the office because they're partners in their firms. But they are the only ones in the office. So they're speaking to everybody else who's at home. So they don't want to be overdressed or overdress the conversation, but they want to be relatable, in tune, and yet also still speak to their expertise.
Yeah. I think
visually.
So many times people think about their, like, especially if you wear a suit every day, that's kind of your armor.
Yes. Yeah.
And so then if you take your armor off, but not just that, you're then kind of exposing yourself because you're sharing what most people don't see, which is your home. So it's kind of like all these interesting things that play all at once.
And you know what? I think the most important thing when you take away the suiting away is there's something about suiting that creates shoulder definition. And that's the one constant that you need to keep, is that shoulder definition. So it's really important that you see your shoulders. You know, whether you accent them with a little poof in your blouse, so we have a little statement sleeve or some type of shoulder statement. But it's really important that you define your silhouette at the shoulder, that whatever you're wearing fits you well at the shoulder, because that creates stature.
Okay, so that's a great tip, the shoulder.
Yes.
What are some other great tips?
Well, of course, you know, there is some like styling 101 things that come into play now more than ever, because picking collar styles, angles, and shapes that flatter your face are super important now, because you're seeing your face so much more. It's become so much more of a focal point within the video screen, within this context of the computer or the phone, depending on where you're looking. So I do talk a lot about styling for your face shape and knowing what your face shape is and creating that visual balance and symmetry through, you know, if you, like, for instance, if you had a heart-shaped face, you know, I wouldn't want you wearing V-neck shirts all day long. If you have a round-shaped face, I wouldn't want you to have a scoop neck that completely mimics your face shape all day long. You know, you want to create contrast there and a visual balance. That's
really interesting. I love that. I've not thought, I mean, we talk about body shape a lot, but we've never had to think about face shape.
Well, and we're talking about it more now because we've taken body shape almost out of the equation within the realm of the video screen. So it matters a lot more now how things, what you're seeing, basically, what you're seeing.
Yeah, so. I totally agree. I love that. Do you think obviously people would dress more casual then? How do you be casual yet sophisticated?
Consistency helps a lot. But I think it's, again, using what you have to create that level of sophistication if you want it. Obviously, jewelry you would go to immediately if you wanted to create a more casual statement and take it up a notch. You know, for instance, to me, silk is the ultimate easy fabrication to wear to create elegance, like silk t-shirts. I think, like, I normally buy 2 or 3 silk t-shirts for clients' wardrobes at least once or twice a year. I think I've bought no less than 50 in the last 3 weeks for various clients.
Wow.
Because that has been the one thing that everyone realized they don't have enough of, were silk t-shirts. And we bought them from Equipment. I bought them from Quiana. I bought them from various people, like Carolina Zamarlak. Her silk tanks and her washable leather pieces have been something that, to me, I keep coming back to. You know, those statement pieces that feel comfortable to wear. And, you know, even websites like Carbon 38 have been producing so much suiting now, even in wardrobe, in workout fabrications. So I think that makes you feel good wearing it at home because it doesn't feel like traditional suiting.
No.
Those tech pants and those tech fabrications, easy to wear, comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I usually wear sweats every day and I just put on the right blouse. It'll be interesting when I don't wear sweats every day. I think I'll just be like, I think we have gained some weight. And then do you get into makeup? Because makeup I've talked to more makeup artists now, and that's a thing for a lot of people.
I stay in my lane as far as makeup goes, but I've been well trained. And that comes from starting out my career in television. I've always had a makeup artist that I've worked with. But I think that for my clients and clients that aren't professionally on camera or used to that, I think there's, you know, the two that you must have. Number one, define. Every makeup artist I've ever worked with has always told me, why would I paint your face if I'm not going to frame it? And that's the eyebrows, you know, so you always, no matter, you know, what your skin tone is, always have defined eyebrows. It helps show our, you know, it frames your face and it also helps show expression.
Yeah.
And then lips. I think it's important that your lips don't fade into your face just because you want people to pay attention to what you're talking to. So it doesn't have to be a bold lip color, but I think having some color on your lips or having them defined helps females versus males, obviously.
I like that. So we've talked about shoulder, face shape, collar, makeup. What about hair? Like hair is a hard thing now, right? Even like in Seattle, they I think just now, 25% occupancy at hair salons. So I cut my own hair the other day. I'm like, I just was bored. And so
you crazy girl. I am so proud of you. I can't believe you did
Well, I didn't cut it that much, but that much on a short haircut.
Well done. Well done.
But that's another thing, you know, so like how your hair is
so I think that,
I
think that the goal for everyone with hair should be that it flatters your face shape, and it's not distracting. You know, you don't want your hair to be distracting in the call. Constantly touching your forehead and touching your face. Like we've learned through messaging of the media that these are no-nos. So I always tell people, especially with you, sit on your hands if you have to. Do not touch your face. You know, like whatever you have to do, keep your hands away from your face.
Yeah.
So I think that's very important with your hair. Is that make sure it's in a style that either you've sprayed it so it doesn't move, or you've pulled it back so it's not in your face. That it's still framing your face in a way that's flattering, but that it's not part of the conversation.
Yeah. In a way, it's kind of nice to style yourself for calls because it's literally waist up. You don't even have to worry about the back of your hair.
Well, I've shown that a lot in my social media. You know, there's some of the things in my social media. I have loved this time. I think this time has been a gift just due to the fact that we've been able to be introspective and think about what matters in our life. If anything, the gratitude factor for me about things that I immediately missed and knew were missing from my life, and all the things that I didn't miss, how quickly then they went away and I no longer thought about them anymore. You know, like it was a rebalance that I don't think I've ever had in my lifetime. Never. From the time I started working when I was 15, I never had that luxury before. And I hate that it came at this cost, but it came for a reason. My faith is strong. I know it came for a reason, and I hate that everyone has had to suffer during this time, but I feel like this is a huge awakening for all of us in a defining moment in our history and in our culture that we can only grow and prosper from.
I agree. I think that there's been definitely waves, and I think that you know, I think for everyone, it's like not because all these things are happening, and then you're not running outside. Like in Seattle, things have opened up, but even this weekend, I didn't feel in a hurry to go get my nails done or go to a restaurant. I just didn't feel in a hurry. At all. So it's been nice to have time to just, you know, work on things, reflect on things, get into action in areas where maybe before because you think about how much we run around, you can see it just in traffic, because now traffic is starting to pick up a bit. And so I almost feel in a way like I want it to end for sure, but I think I'll kind of miss some of I'm from a small town, you know, so a lot of city life is much busier than a small town. And whenever I go visit my parents, I'm like, oh yeah, I like this small town. So it's interesting. And in Seattle, so like Expedia, their headquarters are right down the street. Amazon is right downtown. And it's my understanding that most of those businesses will not have people in the office until December.
Wow.
Yeah. So Microsoft, Amazon. So I think that and then of course there's conversations with companies like Twitter that, you know, maybe people will never have to come back in the office unless they want to. So this, I think, is a new way of communicating, a new way of doing business for a lot of people.
And so I think it's really important. I think that's not going to change. And I think that our ability to speak to that as stylists and as GlamHive as a community is a way we can all show our strengths. to the community audience that is out there that is desperately in need, because we've never had to transition to a new form of communication so quickly and rapidly as we did with this without proper training. You know, there was no degree for this in school. I mean, yes, you can concentrate on visual and spoken communications, but never to the point where, as professionals in this part of our careers, you know, so many people at the top of their game now that are having to pivot and say, okay, now for the agreeable future, this is going to be how I communicate with people. And I want to do it to the best of my ability.
Well, and that is what I love about all stylists, GlamHive, is that people can get the help they need. It's because it's not, the whole thing is, and I almost feel like there was a couple weeks when it felt like this was just going to be a couple weeks where you could just kind of be like, anything goes. But now that this is a way that things are, it's like, it's very easy to get the help. And just even when it, like with the background, like I really notice how much I love how your outfit matches the cheetah, and I love the flowers, all of it. Because what it does do is it does build confidence. Like it makes me feel like you're just really pulled together.
Thank you. And you know, I call it the Peloton plants effect, because anyone who's on Peloton knows how important it is if you work out that you have to see green. But you know, working from home, that's the biggest tip. I think seeing green or seeing life behind you on a video screen is super important, only because it reminds the person you're speaking to that you need to breathe, you know, and that we keep things alive, and that nature is a huge grounding element for all of us.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, you know, another thing that I bring in, and I talk about that in my webinar a lot too, as well.
And so tell us about your webinar.
So it's super focused on styling for video communications. And we talk about everything from styling your surroundings to, you know, your wardrobe choices that go into your face shape, you know, that basically talking about your face shape and how you can style yourself for your face shape with collars and layering pieces, jewelry. You talk about lighting. Lighting is so very important. And then practice. You know, I think that's one thing that if you're the younger generation, and I say this with all the respect in the world, they know how to communicate on this phone so well. They've just kind of, it's a norm for them. Yeah. But practicing for executives and people higher up in their career that don't do this all the time has been essential. And I've turned so many people on Marco Polo because it is an app that I have used a lot with some of my clients because we're practicing together. Oh. I've also used it for some of my friends in New York City who I miss desperately, and several of them have taken a break from social media. And that's my way to see them. You know, I'm a visual person, and when I miss seeing people, you know,
what is Marco Polo?
It is an app. Okay. It's an app, and it's all video communications. And it's the simplest thing in the world, Stephanie. It really is the simplest thing in the world. It has a start and stop button, like literally start and you start talking, stop and you stop talking. And it's immediately, and I even use it with my mom because she wants to keep all her exchanges with my 9-year-old in one place and not on her phone where she runs out of data. Yeah. And so it's great, and it's great for practice. And I'll tell people, you know, like just for this webinar, for instance, I went on to Marco Polo and I did a quick session with a friend so I could check my lighting. You know, it was just it's easy practice.
That's a good idea. What I do a lot is just turn on my Zoom. And then I just can see, and there are times I'm like, oh my God, okay.
So Stephanie, let me ask you, are you doing this on your phone or your computer?
Well, I'm on my phone right now.
Okay.
And I'm holding it because I realized that I was talking today and I didn't, you know, charge it, which is silly. And so it's moving around. This is going to sound really dumb, but can you do a Instagram Live from your computer?
I can't see why not if you have Instagram up on your screen. I've never tried it, to be honest. I've never tried it.
I don't know that you can. But
I agree. I told everybody one tip that's really important is they range in price from $16 to $600. But getting yourself a tripod with a light on it that holds your phone, I've ordered it for 3 clients myself. I literally just said, this is my gift to you because your computer's too far away, your office is too dark, and a lot of them are backlit. You know, a lot of people, the way their offices are set up, they have natural light that they can't take away. And the way the light moves throughout the day, depending on the weather and the time that they're talking to people, I said, you know, consistency is really important in your work.
Yes, I'll do this properly.
I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky to work. I work with so many people that inspire me. So I always just want them to be top of their game.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because I have one of those tripods with the lights. And then have you seen the article that, or it's just a little thing that Tom Ford wrote, I think in the New York Times, and it was very simple tips.
Okay. No, I'm going to write that. That's what on the list.
Just Google Tom Ford, New York Times.
Okay.
I think it's like how to look sexy on Zoom or something.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And it's literally like 5 tips. But so that's one thing I've done. So like now when I'm doing a video, so now I'm not holding my phone, I can be back a bit, because he talks about things like that, distance. But like I stack I just have I have my Tom Ford, my Kareen Rotfeld, and my Chanel book. And on it is my laptop, and then my phone's on it. Oh, where do you suggest getting tripod with lights for clients? Well, I found them on Amazon. Where do you find them?
So did I. I ordered them from Amazon. I really didn't go to any of my lighting guys. I do work with people in television news, and I should have asked them. And yeah, I have a client that is a producer, and maybe he'll tell me where he would go. But honestly, I bought them on Amazon. One of them was $34. One was $74. It depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
What Tom Ford talks about is you kind of want, so in a way, my laptop is a little bit too low. You want the top of your laptop to be, I think, just below your head, so that then you can tip down a bit. So that's the thing. And then usually I think he recommends the light behind your computer, so you can kind of see my light. So there's a little bit of that. But it does make a huge difference.
It does.
Those things make a difference. They've been sold out a lot actually on Amazon, because I think a lot of people are ordering them. This is how dark it is in Seattle in the summer. I turned mine on this morning because I'm like, there's no sun and it will be brightness. And a couple of times I looked up, I'm like, oh, there's a sun out. I'm like, no, it's my light.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of people, they can't control their environment and where they get in their home that's quiet or not. I find a lot of people, and I've told them, when you go to style your space, corners are kind of great for that. You only need a little nook. You just need a very small space to style that you can feel comfortable and sit in, just to say some more about you. It's nice to have professional markers back there.
I might do that, move my desk, because I have a bookshelf that's kind of, nice. It is nice to have a couple of different vignettes.
It is. And I know, and it's funny, I have 5 in this exact space, because it's the space within my home where I can get the most peace. It's nice to have a luxury of that. But I would take a good look at your environment and see how many spaces you can style. I think you can come up with more than one. That's my challenge to you.
I probably could. Yeah, for sure. I think a big thing is also to be intentional. Like I think when you drive to a meeting or you have a meeting, you arrive at a restaurant, or the hardest thing I think for me is I just pop from one thing to the next. And then I just haven't had that. Like sometimes you don't take the minute to just prepare. Someone asked, how can they view your webinar?
Okay. So right now I've been doing it for private companies and clients. So I don't have it live on my website, but I will soon. So just keep checking in, or they can email me, or they can message us, and I'll share with them. You
can always message Shaye. You can book Shaye on GlamHive. You can email us at hello@GlamHive, and we'll put you in touch.
Thank you.
Next week, we're going to announce our next style conference. I'm pre-announcing it right now because I've been working on it. But we should talk about you doing something like that.
I would love it.
A workshop, because we have a lot of celebrity stylists that can speak to designers and do lots of things, which is great. For you, I love this because it's such a interesting. It's like a workshop. Shelly, Shelly Carlson, she's the bra fitting one. That's Shelly's bra fitting thing is amazing too.
It is
practical. Like, sometimes I think this is the thing that I've realized about stylists. It's not always about buying stuff. In fact, what would you say? What % of your work is purchasing things?
Ooh, I'd say maybe 45% of my work is purchasing. Yeah.
So
the other is expertise.
Yeah. And
for sure.
So that's the thing that I think a lot of people to kind of raise the awareness of what stylists do, because it's the clothes are part of it, but a lot of it's just doing things the right way, even pushing out of a comfort zone.
Absolutely. And a lot of it, it's a lot of the people that I work with too have amazing wardrobes. It's not that my clients or people out there in general don't know what they like. They know what they like. It's how to use it to get the results you want. And I think that comes back to preparedness. It's something you mentioned earlier that I talk a lot about, is that, we prepare for our work in different ways. Everybody comes and prepares for work for different ways, but we all prepare in some way about our messaging, about the topic at hand. I just look at that through a microscope of visualization. Yeah. And that's what a lot of your stylists on the Hive do. You know, we are all visual people, and we are looking at it definitely from the visual aspect, and we're helping them in ways that they don't have the time to do. And I find that that's a huge element of my work, is working with people who don't have the time. It's not they don't have the talent or the resources or the budgets. They don't have the time. So,
well, that's the thing.
And I have the time.
Well, and the time to do it, you know, well, or the time to study it, to learn it, because it is a real expertise. Let's see. Carson, hello, from National. I know. I love that. Carson said she loves to have a spotlight on what stylists really do, and I agree. And I feel like that's part of, like, in a way, it's like become like my life's mission, which is, I think it's because I've always had friends that were stylists, even if that's not what I called them. And so my whole life I've had a woman, a girl, someone who's helped me. And I think that's what you have, that usually it's women, sometimes it's guys, but the girl that has your back, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then finding that person and holding on to them throughout your life, I think, is so important. It's funny, you know, I listened to one of my clients last night who, Mama Jan Smith, she is a world-renowned vocal coach. And she did an Instagram last night on Q&A with Mama J. And she had Rob Thomas on, one of her babies, you know, that she had been working as his vocal coach since he was 17 years old. Wow. And the rapport they had was so beautiful, and because we very rarely get that insight into artist identity and the creative process. Yeah. He spoke so candidly with her, but he said something about music that I thought was so brilliant. He was talking about songwriting and everything, and he said it's the melody that often brings you into a song. Mm-hmm. And he said it's like that hot guy or hot girl at the bar. He said, you know, you visually see them, and then the melody, that connection, that energy is what draws you to them in the realm of dating. And it's the same connection you make with music. The melody brings you in to hear what the songwriter has to say with the lyrics. Well, with styling, if I dare to draw a similar parallel, it's the visual aspect of someone that you see and you are immediately drawn to them. Their energy, it's their visual appeal that is almost like a tractor beam. I know who those people are in my life. I see them and I'm all teeth. I can't stop smiling. You know, like I'm just drawn to them. I want to be around them. But I mean, that's a light, that's part of our light, our energy. But a lot of that for me and for others is visual.
Well, and I think it's such a gift. Like what stylists do really is a gift, because you enable people to want to shine their light, whatever their light is. And that's why I love what individual stylists do, because it's not about AI, it's not about an algorithm, it's really about a person's personality. That was a big aha moment for me. I don't remember who said that, but so a lot of styling is also someone's personality. How do you use clothes to bring out the part of their personality that they want to highlight?
And that's a gift for both parties, just so you know. Both people win in that relationship. Yeah. And you know, the clothes, they're just part of the process. Yeah. You know, it's also very much how you wear them and why you wear them. And but that, it's the whole package thing.
Well, I remember when we met, because I mean, honestly, you do have the hugest smile. I don't think that I have a photograph on my phone that I'm smiling as much, because your smile is contagious. And you were wearing that all white suit, I'm pretty sure. Well, at the event, were you wearing all white?
Yeah, I was wearing all white.
Yeah,
yes.
Beautiful. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, and that's available to everyone. Not all, you know, standing out like that is available to everyone.
Absolutely. Yes. And, you know, I think we mentioned it very early on, but the staying true to you thing is so important. Yeah. And it is in styling. And I think that that's where stylists can really help individuals who 100% know who they are, that have a hard time saying it visually. Yes. You know, I mean, our image says so much about us, and never before has truth been so important in our visual image. Yeah. I mean, you cannot go a moment in social media without hearing about truth and equality, and that is exactly the way the world should be. But our self-image reflects our truth. And so I feel that now more than ever, it is important to know that your image stands for who you are and what you believe in.
I agree. And also, to add to that, I feel like, you know, it's just an aspect of when you like yourself, when you love yourself, then you can be more loving to other people. You can just, and even if loving is not your word, you can be more generous. You know, when you're having a good day and you feel good, and you, there is something about that that also spreads good to the world, because then you're in a good place and you're just happier, and then you can be more generous in spirit, you know. And
that should be our goal. That should be a united goal.
That's the goal. And I think even like you think about when you put a nice outfit, or not even, someone can say, I love your earrings, or I love your shirt. And that is like a positive exchange. And then you go out and you might then be positive to someone else. So I think that the work that stylists that you do is just so important. And it's just such great work. Your guys are very much helpers, healers, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm going to take this moment to thank you, Stephanie, for creating a platform where we can all be united in our joy of doing this, the styling. Yeah. Thank you, because since the minute I met you and the minute I was introduced to GlamHive, I don't feel there's competition within this site. It's a beautiful place where we can all be gathered together, and you can find the person's strengths that most appeal to you. You've made it, the way the platform is set up, it's so easy to ask for what you're looking for and find it on the site. The site helps you state what you want, and you can find the people in it. And I feel like that sense of community and that fellowship had never been had for stylists before. So I thank you for creating it, and for creating this vehicle, which is going to help us all do what we do and continue to love doing what we do. So thank you.
I mean, honestly, that's what really motivates me, is that especially now, especially in this time, is that I don't know, I'm all like crying. I'm like crying all the time now. It's just sweet. Thank you for saying that.
I'm grateful.
It's kind of like that perfect relationship where like you guys give, I like to, you give what you can, kind of. And so I like it because it's like the wonky organized spreadsheet stuff. But then someone will be like, those are great earrings. And I'm like,
those are great earrings.
Jennifer Fisher sent these to me after our event, and at first I was like, they're just too big. I was like, they're too big, and then
no, they're not.
And then I love them because, but that's what a stylist does, is all of a sudden I'd be wearing a tinier pair, and now I'm like, no, these are, and it kind of takes you up. It moves your style quotient up.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. So thank you, Stephanie. Thank you for your time today. I'm so grateful.
Hey, I'm so grateful. Well, this is awesome. I think this was like the best conversation.
Thank you.
I love it. So if anyone wants to reach out to Shaye, obviously on Instagram, on GlamHive, you can always email hello@GlamHive, hello@GlamHive. May as well be Stephanie at GlamHive, because that's what it comes to. And so, but it's easier to remember. Yeah, I love this. You're welcome, you guys. And then, oh, I know. Oh, Patrick, I cry each time Shaye styles me. The best and a lifesaver.
Okay, so this is one of the best poison control doctors out there right now, Sean Patrick Ragone. Amazing doctor. I have to thank you, Sean, for what you do, for all your work. It's an incredible doctor. Incredible.
What kind of doctor?
Poison control. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's infectious diseases. I'm sure he will clarify me forgive me if I stated your title wrong, Sean. I'm sure he'll correct us if I said his title wrong, but he is a brilliant, brilliant doctor. And he's on the front lines of what's going on. He's down in Miami working right now. So I'm grateful to him and to every person in our medical community.
For sure. Yes. Thank you, Sean. That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Well, Shaye, it was so good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks, my girl. Thank you.
Bye. Sean, COVID all day long. Hopefully not forever. All right,
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.